All right, so I guess it's live. I just thought I'd hop in here. If anyone wants to join, please do, because I'm just gonna be talking to myself as far as I know. Um, Me and Jacob had planned to move the Bible studies to Saturdays because I normally have Saturdays off normally. I'm just working two jobs this year, so uh, as most of you probably know, my second job is at Pizza Hut, which is like usually the schedule with that is pretty chaotic, but it seems to kind of settled into something a little more stable. And I seem to have Saturday evenings off, so we thought we could start scheduling these on Saturdays after he finishes up Shabbat, and we could do that. But right now it's a Jewish holiday, so he won't be here. And I wasn't necessarily going to do anything, and so I didn't title this a Bible study because, um, I mean, it could be a Bible study. It wouldn't be Hebrew Bible study because I still don't know Hebrew. So, and Jacob's not here to help me with that. But I just thought I would still try to stream something just to see if anything interesting happens. So if anyone wants to join, you're more than welcome. If not, this will probably be pretty short because I don't feel like I have anything to say at all necessarily. Because, like I said, I've just been pretty busy this year, and so I haven't even gotten to study or read nearly as much as I used to or would like to. Um, but my one thought, the the scriptures I've been luckily by the grace of God, I've been able to like um, return to this year. I've been Proverbs. You read a little bit of that every day. Usually, probably just one chapter, maybe more. I try to read a chapter a day. And then Ecclesiastes. I still have been doing this for a while now. I try that once a week. Then for some reason, when I think about reading somewhere else, maybe just because it's kind of short, I'll hop over into Song of Songs. Um, and so that was kind of my thought was just like, well, if nothing else, I haven't read that in probably a few weeks. Um, so I thought I could maybe just read through that because it really doesn't take that long. It's actually a very short book. It is 8 chapters, but it's really short. Um, I don't know that I have much to say about it. Even doing like commentaries and stuff. I like to get into that book for probably a year and a half now. I've been wanting to just really like sink my teeth into the book of Song of Songs or Song of Solomon, whatever people call it, um, in a more group uh, community focused thing, and just kind of dig into this book with multiple people, um, with not just the Jewish perspective, but with just everybody, like people that maybe even haven't read the book before, because there's so many layers to it. It's uh, at, at first hand, I mean, I think it's just kind of like, people are reading it. It's an erotic book between a man and a woman, and I think that's entirely accurate and entirely true. But just the way I mean, it's just written, it's just so poetically, almost keeps you from commenting on it in any definitive way. Um, but at the same time, that I think that it lets the entire book like open up like a flower or something. Even through all its like garden imagery, but it's got a lot of Garden of Eden imagery in it and everything like that. Um, and there's been a lot of stuff that um, just I think I mentioned multiple times before. I'm not sure how much I've mentioned it on Jacob's channel, but the it just there's a refrain in it, not just his book, but around Solomon himself, that Solomon's the son of David, so I think he's kind of, I don't know if he's kind of a Messiah type figure, but he is son of David. But the refrain is that um, Solomon, you know, it means peaceable, which is shalom, and then the Shulamite woman, shalom, is in her name. So you have this refrain on peace, shalom, and which is also kind of associated, or at least I associate it with rest, which I associate also with death, because every night you kind of go to bed and you lay down to sleep and you practice death in your rest. and then begin the new day, kind of wake up from the dead again. Um, but there's, so there's Solomon, there's Sheba, the queen of Sheba that comes to meet him, and Bathsheba. So Sheba is seven, which is the seventh day, like the day of rest. So there's just this like refrain throughout the book of just like, um, I don't know if it's a refrain necessarily. That might be the wrong word, but it just once I noticed it, it just kind of it's just kind of seemed to just keep coming back around, where I personally couldn't really like deny it or ignore it, that this idea of shalom or like peaceful rest or a peaceful death, that awaits the resurrection or something like that is happening in this book, or awaits the new creation, and I think that's kind of exactly what's happening in this, even on the most, like I said, the erotic level, just a man and a woman. um that's what happens. So I would probably just read through it. There's certain parts of it that um, I could maybe comment on a little bit, but I don't know. Another thing that kind of came to me this year is kind of pulling from Greek mythology, which um, I don't know that it's necessarily correct to weave those two together, like, or pull from Greek mythology and weave it into um, Jewish mysticism or whatever. Um, but the thing that came to me earlier this year was actually while I was on a fast, was like I just kept, for some reason, different things would come into my mind about well, not just come into my mind, but you get like weird synchronicities, or like all of a sudden this will pop up. But Persephone in this Persephone in Greek mythology, and there's not, from what I could gather, there's not a lot of stuff written around her, but she's basically the goddess of the underworld, of Sheol, you could say, of grave, of Hades. She's like the bride of Hades, and she's kind of like the virgin goddess of death. But there's an association with her and pomegranates in some of the dead. She takes from the orchard of pomegranates, and in the book of Song of Songs, there is a reference to her orchard of pomegranates. And you see pomegranates come up a few times in the book, which could just be coincidence because it's talking about a garden. So why wouldn't you reference all these different types of fruits? Because the garden should have like all the fruits if it's the Garden of Eden, right? But yeah, it was just I don't know, just another one of those things that just kind of another weird connection with the goddess of the underworld, or the goddess of death, and this going down into death, descent into death, so that new life can come forth. And that's kind of what, like, yeah, like I said, even in the erotic sense, like the sperm does when it goes into the womb, it goes into death, and then uh, come comes back and is born again, new life. And it's got the image of the father, the identity of the father, goes into the womb and dies, unless the seed goes into the ground and dies. Then it's reborn, and the child is born with the identity of the father, but also with a new, um, almost like infinite potentiality that is born again within the newborn child. So kind of that communion between the king, or the father, the communion in the dance with him and death, the Shulamite woman. Um, this, because I think even in relationships that kind of happens, like your partner kind of calls you to die to yourself, in so many ways. Uh, so just that back and forth. I don't know. It's a beautiful book, but that was kind of my only thought, is I might read through some of that. Hey Nathaniel, you're welcome to join if you want. Anybody is, but so yeah, that's kind of the I guess all I got to say. I'll just start reading, I guess, because I need to read it anyways. So, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine, because of the fragrance of your because of the fragrance of your good ointments. Your name is ointment poured forth. Therefore the virgins love you. Draw me away. We will run after you. The king has brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in you. We will remember your love more than wine. Brightly they love you. I am dark but lovely, like the daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not look upon me because I am dark, because the sun has taken me. My mother's sons were angry with me. They made me keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard I have not kept. Tell me, O you whom I love, where you feed your flock, where you make it rest at noon. For why should I be as one who veils herself by the flocks of your companions? If you do not know, O fairest among women, follow in the footsteps of the flock, and feed your little goats beside the shepherd's tents. I have compared you, my love, to my filly among Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, and your necks with chains of gold. We will make you ornaments of gold, with studs of silver. While the king is at his table, my spikenard sends forth its fragrance. A bundle of myrrh is my beloved to me, that lies all night between my breasts. My beloved to me, like a cluster of henna in the vineyards of Engedi. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes. Behold, you are handsome, my beloved, pleasant. Also, our bed is green, and the beams of our houses are cedar, and our rafters of fir. I am the rose of Sharon. I am the lily of the valleys. Like a lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. Like an apple tree among the trees of the wood, is my beloved among the sons. I sat down in his shade with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. He has brought me into the banqueting house, and his dinner over me was love. Sustain me with cakes of raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am lovesick. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up, nor waken love until it pleases. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes, leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, he stands behind our wall. He is looking through the windows, gazing through the lattice. My beloved spoke and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The fig tree puts forth her green figs, and the vines with their tender grapes give a good smell. Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. O my dove, in the rock, secret places of the cliff, let me see your face, let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. Catch us the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feeds the flock of the lilies until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag upon the mountains of Bether. By night on my bed I sought the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. I will rise now, I said. I will and go about the city. In the streets and in the squares I will seek the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. The watchmen who go about the city found me. I said, have you the one I love? Scarcely I had passed them by when I found the one I love. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into the house of my mother and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. Who is this coming up from the wilderness like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, and all the merchants' fragrant powders? Behold, it is Solomon's couch, with 60 valiant men around it, of the valiant of Israel. They all hold swords, being expert in war. Every man has his sword on his thigh because of fear in the night. Of the Lebanon, Solomon the king made himself a palanquin. He made its pillars of silver, its support of gold, its seat of pearl, its interior paved with love by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth, O daughters of Zion, and see King Solomon with the crown with which his mother crowned him, the day of his wedding, the day of the gladness of his heart. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn sheep which have come up from the washing. Every one which bears twins, none is barren among them. Your lips are like a strand of scarlet. Your mouth is most lovely. Your temples behind your veil are like a piece of pomegranate. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built for an armory, on which to hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle, which feed among the lilies. Until the day breaks and the shadows flee away, I will go my way to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense. You are all fair, my love, and there is no spot in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my spouse, with me from Lebanon. Look from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hormon, from the lions' dens, from the mountains of the leopards. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my spouse. You have ravished my heart with one look of your eyes, with one link of your necklace. How fair is your love, my sister, my spouse! How much better than wine is your love, and the scent of perfume in all spaces. Your lips, O my spouse, drip as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under your tongue, and the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. You plant an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, fragrant henna with spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all the chief spices. A fountain of gardens, a well of living waters and streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come, O south, blow upon my garden that its spices may flow out. Let my beloved come to his garden and eat its pleasant fruits. I have come to my garden, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yes, drink deeply, O beloved ones. I sleep, but my heart is awake. It is the voice of my beloved. He knocks, saying, Open for me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one. For my head is covered with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. I have taken off my robe. How can I put it on again? I have washed my feet. How can I defile them? My beloved put his hand by the latch of the door, and my heart yearned for him. I arose to open for my beloved, and my hands with myrrh, my fingers with liquid myrrh on the handles of the lock. I opened for my beloved, but my beloved had turned away and was gone. My heart leaped up when he spoke. I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave no answer. The watchmen who went out the city found me. They shook me. They wounded me. The keepers of the walls, they took my veil away from me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him I am lovesick. What is your beloved more than another beloved, O fairest among women? What is your beloved more than another beloved, that you so charge us? My beloved is white and ruddy, chief among 10,000. His head is like the finest gold. His locks are wavy and black as raven. His eyes are like doves by the rivers of waters, washed with milk and fitly set. His cheeks are like a bed of spices, banks of scented herbs. His lips are lilies, dripping liquid myrrh. His hands are rods of gold, set with beryl. His body is carved ivory, inlaid with sapphires. His legs are pillars of marble, set on bases of fine gold. His countenance is like Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet. Yes, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Where has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Where has your beloved turned aside that we may seek him with you? My beloved has gone to his garden, to the bed of spices, to feed his flock in the gardens, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feeds his flock among the lilies. O my love, you are beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing, every one which bears twins, and none is barren among them. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind your veil. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines, and virgins without number. My dove, my perfect one, is the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed, the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners? I went down to the garden of nuts to see the verdure of the valley, to see whether the vine had budded and the pomegranates had bloomed. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people. Return, return, O Shumalite, return, return, that we may look upon you. What would you see in the Shumalite, as it were, the dance of two camps? How beautiful are your feet in sandals, O prince's daughter! The curves of your thighs are like jewels, the work of the hands of a skillful workman. Your navel is a round goblet, it lacks no blended beverage. Your waist is like a heap of wheat, set about with lilies. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. Your neck is like an ivory tower. Your eyes are like the pools of Heshbon by the gate of Bath-rabbim. Your nose is like the tower of Lebanon, which looks towards Damascus. Your head crowned like Mount Carmel, and the hair of your head is like purple. A king is held captive by your tresses. How fair and how pleasant you are, O love, with your delights. The stature of yours is like a plum tree, and your breasts are like its clusters. I said, I will up to the tree, I will take hold of its branches. Let now your breasts be like the clusters of the vine, and the fragrance of your breath like apples, and the roof of your mouth like the best wine. The wine goes down smoothly for my beloved, moving gently the lips of the sleepers. I am my beloved's, and his desire is toward me. Come, my beloved, let us go forth to the field. Let us lodge in the villages. Let us get up early to the vineyards. Let us see if the vine has budded, whether the grape blossoms are open and the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. The mandrakes give off a fragrance, and at our gates are pleasant fruits, all manner, new and old, which I have laid up for you, my beloved. Oh, that you were like my brother, who nursed at my mother's breast. If I should find you outside, I would kiss you. I would not be despised. I would lead you and bring you into the house of my mother, she who used to instruct me. I would cause you to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. Charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, do not stir up, nor awaken love, until it pleases. Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I awakened you under the apple tree. There your mother brought you forth. There she who bore you brought you forth. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is as strong as death, and jealousy is cruel as the grave. Its flames are a flame of fire, a most vehement flame of Yah. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. We have a little sister, and she has no breast. What shall we do for sister in the day that she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build upon her a battlement of silver, and if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. Then I became in his eyes as one who found peace. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon. He leased his vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. My own vineyard is before me. You, O Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruit 200. You who dwell in the gardens, the companion for your voice, let me hear it. Make haste, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of spices. And that's it. See, it's not long. It's maybe like 10 minutes or something. Um, yeah. So I don't know. No one hopped on, but I don't know what else to say. The part There is one part. Well, I mean, I could maybe comment on different parts of it, but uh, I don't know that I really will. The only thing I really thought about comment on was it's in chapter 4, and it's probably not the way this is commonly seen or even properly seen to read it this way. But for some reason, it kind of struck me, maybe the second time I ever read this book, that there's a way, like, when thinking, gosh, there's different ways you can even read this book where you kind of switch out and you're kind of reading it as the man, and then there's other parts where you're kind of reading it as the woman, like, or the feminine part reading it to God or something back and forth. But even looking at uh, the woman just being the rest of God's creation and other people you know in the world, there's this part, it's first chapter 4, verse 12, and I just thought, like, this is kind of a description of every person you can meet in life. And I think, Jordan Peterson, I think, kind of says the same thing sometimes, that people you meet are just like just endless treasures once you start cracking into them. Oh, what's the StreamYard link? Hold on, let me just throw it in here. Copy. Um, there. I forgot to even post that. Maybe that's why nobody joined. Oh, you're welcome, Nathaniel. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But so the part, just thinking like how everybody is like that. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, spring shut up, a fountain sealed. Your plants are an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, fragrant henna with spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all the chief spices, a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters and streams from Lebanon. Like every single person you can encounter is like that. They're just like this garden that's just waiting to be opened. And everybody has all these different treasures, um, and spices and fruits inside of them that just sometimes need to be out. And I don't know, sometimes it's not until I pause, it's kind of convicting my own life, because God, there's so many times I don't think of people that way. But if I would think of everybody that way, I would probably uh, really try to show more interest and attention and love towards people and be able to pull that out of them. So that's just the only part I really thought of commenting on in this book. But like I said, I'd love to go through it more with other people at a future time and kind of see what other people draw out of it. Because there's just, like I said, there's so many layers, and even certain words and refrains like are make me think of other parts of scripture. Like it's almost in a weird way referencing other parts of the Bible in this. Well, I mean the Bible does that all the time anyway, but um like strange parts that it just like the part towards the end it says where he's talking Solomon the vineyard at Baal Hamon, he leased its vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring forth fruit 1,000 silver coins. Like out of all the things you could say, like why 1,000 silver coins? Then she says, uh, "My vineyard before me, you, O Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruit 200." It's just the weird, like out of all the numbers or all the things you could right there, 1,000 silver coins. I'm just like, there's other reference to 1,000 silver coins in the scriptures. Um, so I don't know if it's like purposely trying to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, or even if it's not purposely. It's probably at least interesting to make those connections. Um, but yeah, so like I said, there's all sorts of uh, different directions you could go with this, and different things to look at. But um, like I said, that's just been one thing personally. I think for me this year has been kind of reading it that way with kind of um, a dance, a weird communion with death. But I think that word. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more. There's when I bring up when I even use that word death, I think personally I don't. I think just so ingrained in my thinking because I was raised as a Christian and religiously. There's a other, that surely there's a hereafter. Surely there's a hereafter. So that's just kind of automatically there. So when I say the word death, it's not like I don't mean like second death or annihilation or something like that. There's always like a weird underlying thought of a hereafter. So when I say things like the spirit of death, it's almost like this spirit of rest, shalom, or the ending your day type thing. Um, but I was talking to two friends today, and they even mentioned we were kind of joking because we were getting coffee, and my friend Rebecca, who was sitting there, she just like, because somehow we were talking about death, and she was like, "I've always been fascinated with death," and I was like, "Oh my god, me too." So it's just kind of maybe that's some of why I kind of personally like reading it that way because I don't have any. I don't necessarily have any. I should say I don't have any fearful association with death, but I don't. I don't have a knee jerk reaction. I guess against it. I guess maybe the proper way to say that. So that's been kind of a big thing for me reading it that way, especially this year and the year before. I read it that like that sometimes. Um, but the spices. Oh, Andrew, what's up, man? But the spices that
It's going, Jason.
good. How are you?
Good.
I'm just talking about death and songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, what I was just saying was all the reference to the spices in there too. You have Queen of Sheba, and Sheba has this, the association with number 7, which is the day of rest. With I still associate with kind of like death and things like that. But anyway, um, hey Diggs, BTW7, what's up? So what are you up to though? Just cruising the halls. I don't know. Don't know where you went, man. Well, I don't know where Andrew went, but yeah, that's basically what I don't know. That's all I was saying. Is there's yeah the association in Solomon. So you have Solomon Peaceable, Shalom, Shulamite woman, Sheba, Bathsheba, Jerusalem, the city of Shalom, I guess. It's just like over and over that refrain on Shalom just kind of keeps coming up. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of that's kind of lost on me too, not having grown up Jewish, because they have Shabbat every weekend, so they get to do this every weekend. And what was that thing that Jacob said to me a while back? Like, gosh, I don't know, it was something like that. Um, the Sabbath, oh, the Sabbath Queen. That was the term he used. They do something for the Sabbath Queen every week, and I was like, man, that's so freaking cool. Because I think that's somewhat directly associated to this, but maybe not. But I don't know. Anyway, on different note, has anyone tried this new Coca-Cola? What's up, Trey?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are
Where's
you? Why are the screens black? What are you guys doing? I'm just kidding. You don't have to turn it on.
Hey, how's it going, Trey?
Hey, shouldn't you
Where
be
are ya?
somewhere?
Yeah, where are you?
Okay, I'm gonna pull around, just so you know.
Wait, are you guys meeting together in the dark? This is
Yes,
weird.
Sir.
the kiss.
Nice. Are you doing a drug deal? Is that why everything's blacked out?
Uh-huh. Yeah, don't tell anyone.
All right.
Oh,
I
shoot.
don't.
Where is he? Where is this guy?
I don't know. You lost him.
Oh, there he is.
Man, it's cool. You guys get to hang out.
Uh-huh.
I have some friends in real life. I swear. What time is it there anyway? It's like what, 8? A little after 8 o'clock. Then? I don't know what to say. Hi, Connie. Nighttime edition. Yep. Well, thanks for watching. Sorry, it's kind of there's a lot of air at the moment. I'm not sure where this will go. It's nice to see people again, though. I feel like I was telling Jacob, I feel like I've been MIA for quite some time now. I think it's been like 2, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. I haven't even been in any of the conversations because I've just been too busy. Work, always work, and then my hours are like from 3 hours are like from midnight to 4 a.m. I'm just pedaling around, but still too tired to do anything, but not too tired to sleep because I can't go to bed right after I get off work. I just always got to kill some time and unwind. But again, if anybody would like to join, you're more than welcome. I don't know how much longer I'll be on here, but you back? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're gonna consolidate cars in like 5 minutes here. Yeah.
What's new?
What's new?
Yeah.
Nothing much. Just finished summer classes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It was kind of a pain, but we got through it. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you
Yep.
start back up for the fall?
Week from now.
Dang, you only get a week? Oh,
Yep.
ouch. Ouch.
It's killer. It really is.
Yeah, it sucks.
It'll
Man,
be
that
fine.
sucks.
It'll be fine. Plus,
Yeah,
like,
you'll live.
you know. Alright. Alright.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with your guys' streams. I just haven't been able to join any, but I caught the one the other night. What was it? The Sam was doing. I watched I think I watched all of that actually. Then PDK hopped on and was trying to console him or something. I think for a little bit. He said he got on
Yep.
because he felt the pastoral need. But
Yep.
it was a good conversation. It was good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Connie. I'm glad you listened and you enjoyed the read through. Hopefully, I didn't stumble too much. After I started reading it too, I was like, it kind of pops in the back of my head. Oh, I realize now I'm probably going to pronounce half of these words wrong, but you just got to keep going. Look like a fool. She said she's driving from church, so I guess church on Saturday. So you're doing what with cars? You guys are swapping cars?
What'd you say?
You and Trey? What are you and Trey doing? You guys are swapping cars or something? What did you said something about cars?
You know, I'm driving somewhere. He's driving somewhere. It'll be void. You know, it'll be void.
All right. Where are you guys going? You don't know? Are you meeting up somewhere? Or you're just leaving?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me where. I know it's sketchy stuff.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You know.
You only got a week. You got to party hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So like, is Ecclesiastes an easy read or what?
I mean, I guess I don't necessarily think it's hard. It's. I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's hard. I think it's one of those like. So Ecclesiastes and the Song of Songs, both of them, kind of, when I first started reading the books, it was just one of those where I just kind of had to take it as it came, I guess, like not really try to think about it. Because it was weird. I could feel it like kind of shifting something internally. Both of those books kind of do that. Especially Song of Songs, you can't really do that because it's just so poetically rich. Like I said, you can't really try to intellectually think about it at all. You just kind of have to let it like do its work, I think. But Ecclesiastes was kind of the same way for me. Like I just would read it and then I could feel like just I don't know, a shift internally, like emotionally, subconsciously, all this stuff kind of happening. And the I think the best way I know to describe it is like there's that it's that quote from Paul. I can't remember which epistle. He says it might be Colossians, where he says, "Set your mind on things above and not on things of the earth." And I feel like Ecclesiastes has a way of doing that, where it's just it, but it weirdly it has like a weird kind of wave vibe to it or something. It's like set your mind on things above, but also like really enjoy this creation that God's given you, but know that it's fleeting. And then it just concludes like the conclusion of the matter is fear God and keep His commandments. For this is man's all. And so, yeah, I don't know. That book just both of them just I feel like more helped me internally and spiritually than they did intellectually. But Ecclesiastes might maybe you can draw a lot of good intellectual stuff out of it as well for sure. But that's probably my favorite book of the Bible. Do you have a favorite passage or book or anything? I probably already asked you this. Did you say no?
I'm gonna
No.
ask.
What? He just left. Oh man. I don't know if they'll come back. They seem to, I feel like Andrew and Trey kind of pop on and off back and forth sometimes. So I don't know if I don't know if they're service or not. But anyway, anybody else, if you're in the comments, if you have any, I'd just be interested. I'm always interested in asking people that question too. The questions I like to ask people are, what is their favorite passage of scripture or book of the Bible, or a favorite Bible character, or favorite psalm? Like just kind of, I don't know. I always think that's kind of a cool context to get from people what they're drawn to in scripture, what resonates with them. So yeah, favorite Bible character, favorite passage, favorite story, favorite book, any of those things. If anyone wants to, Daniel said Ecclesiastes. Heck yeah. For those questions, the other question I really like to ask people all the time is, what's your favorite Disney movie? Because I just think that's a fun question to ask people. So, actually, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my little book here. All right. Well, I can't find it, but I know I still have it. But I have this little notebook. I just know it's misplaced. I've been trying to work on stuff, and so all my books are scattered all in my room. But I had this little notebook, and within it, I went to India. I've been a few times, but there's this so you're probably the Watch channel probably heard me talk about it before. My sister's a ministry, and so helping with like orphans, and there's a lady over there who kind of has like a safe haven or safe house for some kids, and so I spent some time there last year, about weeks, and one of the little girls, Kami now, I was just sitting there talking to her. She's probably maybe around 10 or so. I'm not sure how old she is. But she asked me this series of questions, and so I just wrote them all down. And I was like, "Hey, these are like the best questions ever because they're just coming straight from a child, and they're just uh, they strike people as being just incredibly simple, but they're actually like really, I don't know, just really, I don't know if they're profound questions, but it's just questions to ask people. Just simple stuff like, what is your favorite like meat, which is a weird one. Like, what is your favorite food? What is your favorite meat? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite flower? Like, so we just wrote down like all these different questions. And for a while on my channel, when I'd interview new people, I started trying to go through and ask them those questions at the end of the interview, which kind of puts people on the spot because like I don't think normally think about all those things, what my favorite flower is, or like what is your favorite bird. Like, I think that was one of them too, which is it's just an interesting question to ask people. I don't know, but yeah, let's see. I have Ecclesiastes. Nathaniel said his favorite book is Ecclesiastes. I haven't read it in a long time, but it is his favorite. He said, "Well, never mind. I did read it during philosophy seminar last semester. Sorry, philosophy seminar last semester." That's interesting. I'd be curious to hear how that book is taken philosophically. I don't think I've ever really even thought about that. Like I said, I haven't really even talked about that. It's weird. I haven't talked about that book too much with people. it seems like when it is talked about, it's never really dug into it. Me and my friend Mitch were like trying to go through it chapter by chapter and really dig into it, but like we said, we both just feel like we're kind of uh, just stumbling through it, like just like reading it, being like, well, what does this mean? Well, I don't know, and it's almost painful. It's a painful experience, but it's really enjoyable and a lot of fun. But we haven't been able to do that in a while. But that's the most I think I've really dug into it with people. I'd be curious to hear uh, how it's taken philosophically as well. Um, but anyway, I don't know if anyone else wants to say what their favorite Bible stories. Oh, another one that I thought was interesting. Somebody asked me once. They said, when you get to heaven, and I guess, on this channel and in this circle, this little corner, kind of say, quote unquote, what heaven really means. But just in like simple way of thinking about it, when you get to heaven, who would you, or the resurrection or whatever, who would you like to meet most? I think you could ask that question in general, and then maybe who would you like to meet most out of the Bible stories? And I thought that was an interesting question to ask people. I've always said, for some reason, for years, mine would be Leah. Just for the one message in Scripture where it says Rachel was Leah's eyes were beautiful or something, or there's like different ways of interpreting the Hebrew where like I think mine in English says beautiful, but then her other versions almost like make it sound like it's a slight against her or something, like her eyes were not beautiful. I don't really know, but just the way the scripture comments on her eyes, I always thought was so interesting. It was like that would be, I think that the person for some reason want to meet most, just to like see what it is about her eyes that uh, that God gave enough time to put in scripture and comment on. But it says Leah's eyes were beautiful, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance, or something like that. No, it doesn't say beautiful about her eyes. What is the word? Delicate, I think. Yeah, delicate is how my Bible describes it. Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance, or something like that. So no, that's also another interesting question. Like who would any of you like to meet in heaven? If anyone will comment, let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably going to sign off here soon. I've been going for almost 50 minutes. I don't know how I did that, because that book only took like 10 minutes to read. I think Andrew and Trey helped me break up the monotony a little bit. So sorry, guys. Sorry if it's kind of boring. You know what else I could read, though? I have this book, famous 101 Famous Poems. I got it at this used bookstore. I've had it for a while, and I've never actually read through it, because a lot of times poetry is just lost on me, to be honest. Like, I just feel like I just don't get it. It's really strange. But there's this poem by Rudyard Kipling. I freaking love Rudyard Kipling anyway, just for the Jungle Book. But I thought this one was really good. It's called If by Rudyard Kipling, and it says, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust when all doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your wins, risk it on one turn of pitch and loss, and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, nor walk kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, be a man, my son. I thought that was just so freaking good. Man. There's a lot of good poems in this. So anyway, but that's all, folks. Pork Pig. I'm gonna sign off here. So thanks, people that watch this. All right, I'm gonna read your comment. I'm so anxious when I think about heaven and all the people having to talk and meet people, but I'm sure we will be healed and more able. Fear social side, huh? Haha, but how bad is that? No, that's like a really good comment. Yeah, that's a lot to think about. It's very sobering. I like that you said, but I'm sure we'll be healed and more able. That should be written in a quote somewhere, but we will be healed and more able. That's good. So that's a good note to end on anyway. So thank you for that, Connie. And thank you for everybody for listening through this. Hopefully next week, me and Jacob will be back on it somewhere in the scriptures, doing something. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully see y'all soon. Bye.